Hey, welcome back. In this lesson I'll be demonstrating how to make armor, plates such as these with rivets in them. The belts and the scratches will be covered in another lesson, but I'll show you how to make these, and it's very similar to the way we made clothing. So we'll start with just hiding these other pieces here, just so I can start with a clean slate. I'm going to select the body. I want to make sure it's all, just for this example, one poly group, and I'm just going to draw a basic shape. Don't worry about these scars, I'll show you guys how to add that later. But let's say I just want to create a piece of armor for the forearm. I'm just going to create one single piece just for this demonstration. Although in real life you'd want them to be like scales, flexible and okay. That's good just for the demonstration, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the extract function this time and just hit extract. That's pretty good for what I'm doing. I'm going to hit accept. As you can see, the extract just put a subtool below the one that I created, and it actually created a little extra piece for me. So I'm going to solo that out, and I'm going to select this part, and I'm going to select this edge, and I'm going to delete hidden, and I'm also going to select that extra little piece, and I'm going to delete hidden. Okay, so now I just have this piece right here. Actually, yeah, that's good. So if I hit polish by features, it'll automatically kind of recognize where the edge is, and I could hit that pretty hard because I want to get something really smooth to start out with. If I want to change the shape of this, I can go in, I can hit Control and Shift together, and let's see, use slice curve, and I'm holding down spacebar to move it, and I just want to flip it around so that the black area is facing away from my model. I'm letting go of shift, and let's see, do something like that. And as you can see, that created I'm gonna have to turn back into the regular selection, but that created a slice, took a slice right out of my model right there. And I could delete hidden again. And again, if you forgot where delete hidden is, it's under geometry, modify topology. It's very useful, and I suggest you have it in your hotbar. Okay, so now we have this piece as one piece. Let me just make a little bit of adjustments to it to make it more armor-like. I'm going to use clay tubes to just kind of bring out the center, smooth it. Just create a kind of some sculptural forms in it. And I'm going to use trim dynamic to maybe put a little edge in it. So it kind of looks like these ankle or shin guards we have down here. Okay. Trim dynamic is really good for laying out these kind of forms. And I'm going to hold down shift control, select my slice curve again, and I want to make this a hard edge, so I'm just going to slice that, and I'm going to hold down spacebar to move it, let go of shift, hold down, hit alt to put a little curve in it, and let it go again. And now I'm going to hold down shift control, select rectangle, and see, I got this piece. Delete hidden again. I don't need that stuff. Now you can hit BHP for high polish. Put a little polish on that. Now the difference between high polish and trim dynamic, one of the main differences is with high polish, it'll actually accentuate edges. See what happens there when I do high polish over that edge. Whereas with trim dynamic, one of the great uses of it is you can actually go over and round edges just like that. So just keep that difference in mind when you're using those two tools. Okay, so this is a good little starting piece of armor, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and create a panel loop just like I did with the clothes. I'm going to make it just one loop, which means it's going to have only one cross section. I'll show you when I do it. Turn the bevel down to 0, make sure double is on, thickness relatively low, hit panel loops, and shift F to show your polyframe. And you could see because I just had one, there's no subdivisions in this, which is kind of what I want for this. I don't want any subdivisions right there, because the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to shift control click that little edge to get it by itself, and I'm going to do the same thing again, except this time I'm going to unclick double because I don't want to create a double side. I just want to create a little border around my model, and it's going to basically connect to that. If we hit double, it would have created a face on the back of that, and we don't want that. So I'm just going to make it actually a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit thicker. Okay, good. Alright, so now we have that little border there, and I'm going to show just that border. So now we see we have the inside of that border and the outside of that border. Go ahead and hit auto groups, which you can find in polygroups, auto groups, which will basically, since these are two separate objects, they're not touching, they're not continuous, it's going to separate them into two separate groups. So now just have this outside group, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the edge of this armor kind of like somebody rolled it onto itself. And to do that, I'm going to go back into my geometry panel loops. This time I'm going to turn my bevel up a little bit, and I'm going to give it some loops, maybe 5 loops. Alright, let's try that. Hit panel loops. As you can see, it created a little border right there. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit thicker. Okay, so thicknesses here aren't ideal. As you can see, this isn't, realistically armor would be a lot thinner than this, but for the demonstration this is fine. And next thing I'm going to do, because it looks very very mechanical right now, is I'm going to go to deformation and just hit polish. So I want to make that a little bit shorter. Come to think of it, go down to 0.44, panel loops, deformation, polish. And as you could see, and you could do polish with the circle or without the circle, and it created this effect of the edge of our armor, like it's kind of been rolled. And sometimes this effect on the edge of armor is not from it being rolled, it's from it being actually hammered out from behind. So depending on that, you might want to adjust how you want that effect to look. In the next lesson, I'll show you how to create some rivets and some other little types of armor. Thanks for watching.